Greetings Commanders, I'm Commander Gypsum, and today we're looking at the brand new Imperial Cutter in the 1.5 beta. Alright, so here she is. Quite an interesting looking ship. You can obviously, it's got some very Imperial Clipper designs. Of course, it's made by the same company. And I gotta admit, I think it looks a little bit better now that I've gotten a good look at it. When I first saw it in the previews, I was a little distressed. I didn't think it looked too great, but I'm much happier now taking a look at it. And here it is in the outfitting screen. So we're just going to go through a couple options here of how I'm outfitting it. As you can see, I've got the alpha power plant and thrusters, frame shift drive, really all the standard loadout here. I'm going to be using a bioweave shield, which is something new here, and a large shield cell bank. And yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary here. Now for my hard points, I'm using 4 multi-cannons in the medium slots, and I'm using 3 large pulse lasers in the large spots. And the rest is shield boosters and a kill worm scanner. Now I'm going with a large pulse in the huge hardpoint slot just because I wanted triple large. And you can see got some decals here, and inside, look at this, bobblehead positions. So you got 10 different places you can put your bobbleheads. I imagine you can get 10 bobbleheads if you really wanted to. And this is where I put my female pilot bobblehead in memorial of Patricia. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out the fire groups and their priority settings. I've got my priorities laid out here, so I'm going to be at max capacity when I open up my hardpoints. And everything else is going to shut down that's not required, like the fuel scoop and the frame shift drive and the cargo hatch. And that's going to keep us in business once we get into combat. Yes, everything checks out. And in fire groups, I've got my pulse lasers. I'm sorry, my burst lasers in fire group 1, multis in fire group 2. Alright, so the first portion of the video here is going to be some Glamour Shots. I took it out to one of my favorite systems here. Went to a Haz-Res, and now we're just going to get a good look at the Imperial Cutter. We're going to do some flybys here and get just a real good look at some of the intricacies. It's got some interesting design choices, like that blue reflective area there, and just above to the left it looks like maybe an observation deck. Very interesting. And of course we've got the classic nacelles. And the back end is actually a lot different from the Imperial Clipper, and it really does look fantastic. As you can see, we've got a lot of engines here in the back of the ship, and those vents you see are the heat vents. Yeah, what a beautiful ship. Now you can see I do have my hard points out, and those are medium class that are on the engines there. So you can see the engines far out eclipse the actual hard points. Now of course you can see the reflective surface on this side as well. You can kind of see the asteroid belt and the reflection. We're going to get in for a little bit closer look here. interesting choice. This is the first time I've seen a reflective portion on a ship like this. As you can see from the nose, a very streamlined design. Okay, now we're going to do a flyby of an over and under, so we can get a little bit better details here. Those are the two large hard points on the top. And the two medium hard points on the top of the engines. And here's after the vessel, seeing all of the engines at full power. And now we just swing under the belly of the beast. Now you can just barely make out the other two medium hard points on the bottom of the engine nacelles. And here's the huge hard point coming up. Like I said, I replaced it with a large burst laser. The Imperial Cutter. Alright, so now we're going to take a quick look on the interior here. I'm using my ED head tracker. You can look around. As you can see, it's a nice open canopy. Got a great view. See kind of a little station over there to our right, or I should say starboard side. And on our port side, you can see that there's another station there along the wall. Very interesting. Some lucky NPCs would have a great view. And of course our co-pilot station next to us. Now as you can see on the chair, our center screen is gone. Very interesting. Perhaps it's retracted? Possibly? Who knows? But it's a very clean design, very elegant, just like the Imperial Clipper. But it does feel it's more of a grand scale. I would say an improvement perhaps over the Imperial Clipper. Alright, now it's time to put those hard points to use and see how she does in combat. Alright, we've located our first victim here. We're opening up with the triple large burst lasers. Now the capacitor on the Imperial Cutter is excellent and it can handle the 3 large burst firing no problem at all. And it has plenty of energy to do a recharge. So now that we've stripped the shields, we're using the 4 medium-class multi-cannons to do the hull damage. As you can see, it's got a pretty good convergence, even though we're using the gimbaled weapons here. And it does look pretty awesome when you're using the 4 multis firing. Now you do have to keep your target directly in the center for all 4 multis to hit. If it starts to kind of drift into one of the edges, they're going to start losing tracking one by one. and you're going to have to reacquire it, so you're going to be losing ammunition. Alright, so I got to switch around my... There we go. Okay, for some reason I have the discovery scanner going along with the weapons. How annoying. Alright, so we're back in the prowl. And as you can see, it's fairly capable. The cutter, it pitches quite slowly, and it's got so much mass, it's hard to keep it under control. Of course, it drifts backwards at the drop of a hat, which can be good because you are going to want to fly backwards while you're engaging with a large ship like this. As you can see, pretty much any ship can just outmaneuver you at will. So anyone who says that the cutter is OP, I just can't agree with you just because of the handling profile. If you're an experienced pilot, you could easily get behind the cutter and stay there. So no worries there. But with PvE, this is going to be a fantastic ship if you like flying the large ships. Still working down the assault ship here. Again, it can just kind of slowly outmaneuver us as it likes. It can be a challenge trying to keep ships directly in front so you can unleash with all your firepower. But the cutter has so much firepower that it can wear down the target. Maybe this would be a better ship for perhaps jousting. Maybe not, because it does turn around so slowly. Alright, so now we're going after a vulture. Now this is going to be an interesting test. The vulture is hyper maneuverable. The vulture is still one of my favorite ships in the game for bounty hunting for PvE. It's hard to beat the vulture. So it's going to be really interesting here to see if we can keep the vulture in our sights the whole time. Now this is against AI, so they're not the brightest. But if it wanted to, it could go and sit in our wake and just stay there. But let's see what this guy does. Alright, so he's starting to move off, so we're going to be in our firing position. We open fire with the triple large burst, and of course he pops chaff. So that's going to give him a little bit more time to maneuver away as he's doing. And we have to fly in reverse with flight assist off to get back into a good firing position. Now flight assist off is going to be a requirement for flying this vessel. You don't have to have it off all of the time, but you are going to need to turn off if you're going to need to pitch any kind of distance, especially if you're trying to get around to a ship that's coming around to your aft. Alright, so he's popped chaff again, so we're just going to sit back and wait. I could deselect and try just doing a free fire with fixed, but with this ship, it's probably not going to be that effective when I could just save my weapons. Alright, so the shields are down, and he's giving us a good chance to open up with him on multis, so yeah, he's just not going to last long if he's not outmaneuvering us. Alright, so now we're looking at what you may consider the Vulture's big brother, the Fer-de-Lance. Now the Fer-de-Lance is also getting a big bump here with the 1.5. The power plant is getting upgraded to a Class 6, which is going to be ample power now. And they're also adjusting its pitch rate, so it's going to be more maneuverable. I'm actually pretty excited about this. I really want to love the Fer-de-Lance, but I was just not thrilled with the way it maneuvers, and it's always power starved. So I am really looking forward to the changes to the Fer-de-Lance. Now, of course, this is PvE, so the AI is not the brightest, so it's staying pretty much right in front of us. Even though the Fer-de-Lance is fast enough that it could just disengage, get behind us, and that would be the end of the story. Alright, shields are down, so we're opening up with the multi-cannons. And again, man, I just love the effect of firing all 4 multi-cannons. It looks amazing. Alright, so it looks like we got a close distance here. Now, the boost speed of the cutter is very comparable to the Vulture. You can get up into the 340s, around 350, which is really good for a ship this size. This is going to be the fastest large ship. Now here's a problem with all that speed. If you boost, you're probably going to miss your target, and then you're going to have to swing around and get back into range again. Because the cutter has so much mass, it can just drift away from you. Alright, so now we're back in range, and we're going to make quick work here with the rest of his hull. Alright, and that is it for our little Fertile Lance. Now here we are with the Anaconda. So this is what really matters right here. How does the cutter stack up to the Anaconda in combat? That's going to be a question for maybe somebody else to answer with PvP. But for PvE, I think the cutter is going to have the upper hand here. One, I'm going to have a better loadout. The AI doesn't do that great with their loadouts. And the Anaconda is actually more maneuverable, and if I was fighting an actual commander, I believe the Anaconda could stick right behind the cutter just like everybody else and just tear it to pieces. Now the cutter does potentially have more shields than the Anaconda, so it can handle a little bit more of the abuse, but I don't think it's going to outperform the Anaconda and just straight up PvE combat. So now the Anaconda shields are down, so where you'll be able to use the multi-cannons here real quick. Alright, here we go, opening it up. I really like the laser slash multi-cannon setup. You can drain your capacitor on your lasers, and then switch to multi-cannons that just barely sips the juice, while your main lasers can recharge. I think it's a really great setup, especially for PvE. Yeah, so this Anaconda, it's just not doing a whole lot of damage. We've lost pretty much just a ring, and you know, his shields are down. Now he's about to blow. So yeah, PvE, you can take out Anacondas, no problem. Alright, so we're going to do one more here, another fan favorite, the Python. Now the Python is in a wing, so we're going to see how well the cutter can tank some wingmates as we go after our primary target. Now his wingmates aren't overly powerful. I believe it's an eagle and a cobra, but whenever you're engaging a wing, even if it's just small ships that are coming after you while you're going after the main target, their weapons will wear down your shields, because they're basically going to be able to fire at you at will. The only way you're going to do any damage is if you're rocking turrets and free fire. But I'm not a fan of turrets right now. I haven't been really since the very beginning. They're just not smart enough. And sometimes they can get you into trouble. But, so this Python's in tough shape. He's doing the spin of death. And he's going to be out of the fight here momentarily. Alright, he's out, and now it's time to focus on the small wingmates. Now they are going to be very maneuverable, as you just saw. The Cobra and Eagle will just be able to dance all around you, and they could be a real handful if you're fighting actual commanders. But PvE again, you're going to be fine. Maybe use a shield cell if you get too low. But again, with the Bi-Weave, I'm very intrigued with Bi-Weave. What happens is they don't have quite the capacity as the regular shields, but they have a very fast recharge rate. So there you just saw I popped an SCB. This was in Beta 2, and the SCBs still produced intense heat, so I took some heat damage there using the SCB. But I guess it was worth it. Alright, and to do a wrap up, we're going to take the Imperial Cutter into the local station here. What I've done is I've equipped the standard docking computer and I've put it in debug camera mode so we get a nice clear view of the docking procedure. And of course, this is Jameson Memorial. You can only get access if you're a founder or have elite status. And it's a tight fit, but you could still see the computer moved to the right to fit with traffic. So there is a little bit wiggle room on your port and starboard for getting through the slot. Alright, so this has been our look at the Imperial Cutter. It's going to be available to all very soon. It's going to be coming out with 2.0 Horizons, so that's something to look forward to. We don't know what rank you're going to have to get the Imperial Cutter. On the forums, we were talking maybe rank 11, which I believe is Earl, which is pretty high up there. So if you're not up there yet and you want to get the Cutter, you better get up there and start grinding some Imperial ranking missions. Alright, that's going to wrap it up, everybody. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. And please stick around for more Elite Dangerous videos, Stellar Remnants videos, and of course some collectible reviews. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you in the black. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you thought in the comments. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to see all of my latest videos.